When you're feeling sad and low, Suppo will guide you in crypto. Daily content, everything is free, except for the course on Udemy. People of the world, Suppo your life. Every boy and every girl, Suppo your life. Welcome everybody to an episode of Savage Suppo Live. Here with me, your superhero of cryptocurrency, the Suppoman. Savage Cash has now been banished to the pre-recorded segment like you saw in yesterday's video. So now the live versions are Savage Suppo. So if you're excited to learn about blockchains today, because I'm going to be talking about the subject of blockchains, these are the potential powerhouses, the future top 10. The top 10 that you see today in a year's time is more than likely going to be completely different, and infrastructures are going to be the key reason why. So if you're excited to learn about that, smash up ye old likes, smash them up, and make sure that you subscribe to the Team Suppoman for a daily video and watch this all the way through. Also, I'm going to be doing a little bit of an AMA type situation afterwards. So yeah, so we got quite a good schedule, not going to be on for too long. So let me just make sure that I am live and everything. Yes, I look live. Hey, yo, all the peeps, good to see you all. So, let's begin. Let us begin. So, today, the market cap is slightly healthier. Another 7 billion pumped into the market. It just happens, doesn't it? I said it yesterday. You're going to have your red days, your green days, your red days, your green days. Kind of reminds me of a year ago when I was doing these videos. Actually, if you look back a year, this time last year, I did a video on basic attention token, and in fact, you know, today it is actually cheaper than it was this time last year. This time last year was like 32 cents, and now it's 27 cents. So, just goes to show, doesn't it? But this reminds me of this time last year, where I was investing in cryptocurrencies and some were having some significant gains. A lot like Quark Chain. You were having your Quark Chains this time last year. You were having your massive gainers. But at the same time, you were having kind of every now and again, just some, you know, just some moderate increases, the odd 5-10% a day, which is just like it was last year. And I think that we've been spoiled. What's happened to us? We've been kind of corrupted with what happened between November and the end of January, where we had this massive spike in both Bitcoin and altcoins. And I think that we are all really just wanting that back. We don't necessarily like the day-to-day small rises, small losses. You make the odd profit. This time last year was very much a trader's game. You know, and actually, you know, using basic attention token as an example, that is an example of a hodl which would have not really done well for you unless you sold at the peak. So Bitcoin 7,500 today, Ethereum over $600 again, Ripple just stays around about the mid 60s. Bitcoin Cash has net slightly healthier, 1,100. EOS slightly healthier, still not over $14. I think this is the year for EOS. Like, not necessarily from now until December, but from now until next year, I think it's going to be the year for EOS. A lot like what happened with Ethereum. Ethereum once upon a time was $10. I remember that time. And then it became a $1,400 coin. I don't think that EOS is necessarily going to hit that much of a spike. I don't necessarily think it's going to hit 1,400 inside a year. Based on the supply for Ethereum is much more the supply of Ethereum made it much more likely that that volatility could happen. Anyway, so let's move on. Let's move straight on to the old next subject. So I'm going to be talking Suppo's guide to blockchains in this episode. Okay, so this is going to hopefully show you how I see blockchains, okay, and how I see infrastructures. And the reason why is really because I think that you should develop a similar mindset in the sense of, you know, how do you see the big hitters? How do you see certain cryptocurrency projects doing better than others? Why are they? And why in the future are they going to continue to do that unless something sizable changes? So this is Suppo's guide to the blockchain. It's not financial advice as per usual. No paid sponsorships or any of that crap which people think I take because they're idiots. I don't take them. This is just not financial advice. This is just my personal opinion, so do your own research at the end of the day, peeps. And also, just because I say it doesn't necessarily mean it's gospel. I know a lot of people like to think of me as God. I sometimes think that myself, but don't think that, because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, this is a market that's open to interpretation. So, with that in mind, that nice philosophical talk, let's move on. So, let's talk about the progression of blockchains and where it's going to go and why this is good for you. All right, so let's firstly talk about the first iteration of blockchain. Blockchain 1.0. Now, this may be simplifying it quite a lot, but this is how I see it. You know, the Nintendo Entertainment System was one of the first computers in the mid-80s that got people into gaming. Okay, it kind of encouraged that thirst, right, video gaming, which then, of course, evolved to where we are today, right? And now we are in a similar situation with cryptocurrency, okay? So Bitcoin is the one that's gotten people interested. It's the one that's gotten people involved. However, it's clunky at the moment, so it's still in the blockchain 1.0, the first iteration of blockchain, where you have the accounting layer, where you've got the public ledger of trades, buys, sells, everything, public ledger. This is blockchain 1.0. So this is how I see Bitcoin as the Nintendo Entertainment System. Gets people in. This was the first one. But then it evolved. It evolved to blockchain 2.0. And I apologize if I'm blocking somewhat the graphic. Blockchain 2.0 added an extra element. Blockchain 2.0 added the ability to build decentralized apps. Okay, so you could program games. Okay, so it's not just a computer, it's an ability to program games. And so blockchain 2.0 added that extra layer, that application layer. The ability to create decentralized apps, smart contracts to make these decentralized apps work. And cryptocurrencies within that. You know, the accounting layer is still there. So you could send Ethereum from one person to another and it be a store of value like Bitcoin, but just added on that with the ability to build. So Ethereum, like the Mega Drive, kind of was that first 16-bit, the one that came out after the NES, 2 times more powerful. And then the SNES came out, the Super Nintendo or Super Famicom, based on wherever you are. That was the Neo. An improvement on Ethereum, an improvement on transactions per second. However, it's nowhere near as developed yet. Yeah, hasn't got the same amount of developers, hasn't got the same amount of nodes. However, is an improvement performance-wise on Ethereum based on transactions per second. So that is blockchain 2.0. This was very in last year. Ethereum grew like the clappers. Neo went from a $4 coin to a $200 coin. All right, so we're talking about, right, blockchain 2.0, that was their time. Now we are in the situation of blockchain 3.0. Now we are seeing the scalability improving and increasing. That not only do you have the ability to build, but you have the ability to build fast apps. Okay, so CryptoKitties will always probably be that shining example, that beacon example of why Ethereum cannot scale to that level. Okay, or hasn't, as of yet, scaled to that level. Now, they are looking to improve it, just like Lightning Network is looking to improve Bitcoin scalability. However, you know, blockchain 3.0 is already here. It's already brought that leverage and that scalability. And we see that with the likes of Icon, with the likes of Zilliqa, adding sharding. We see it now with EOS and Cardano now pushing, or looking to push, the 1 million transactions per second, being the fastest transaction processor in the world. Now, EOS and Cardano I see as being an improvement on, you know, the likes of Icon and the likes of Zilliqa, because these are real high-performance blockchains. These are ones that can and at will improve, without having to hard fork. So Ethereum would have to hard fork in order to add sharding, all right? EOS and Cardano, they are built to the extent that you don't need to hard fork them in order to get improvements. So this, therefore, is blockchain 3.0 plus, in my opinion. These are the two hottest ones. Icon and Zilliqa, they're great, but they are never going to surpass blockchain 3.0. These are the powerhouses, and these are the ones that are being made by big, you know, and very well known in the space people. All right? So what comes after blockchain 3.0? Now is where we are really making the money. So these are the ones, You know, even going back, Icon Zilliqa still make the good money. They've not really had the growth that Neo had, for instance, and that's because of the bear market. The bear market has stopped them having the amazing growth. When Zilliqa came out, it was 17x straight away, and then it lost a hell of a lot of that growth. Icon was 100x. And now it has just stabilized and, you know, and it's not been allowed to grow. Whereas EOS and Cardano now are in the period where they are the ones looked at as more reliable. But, don't think for 1 second that that is where evolution stops. Because the space is constantly evolving. And just because, you know, the ones on the next slides don't have Dan Larimer, don't have Charles Hoskinson, does not mean they are not going to be absolute belters in the future. So that is where we go to blockchain 4.0. So we have got the likes of P-Chain. Now, P-Chain has kind of multi-layer sharding. It has got these multiple side chains that enable large-scale decentralized apps. Large-scale, like I'm talking about Facebook. You put a Facebook kind of app on Ethereum, and Ethereum will break, okay? Nothing will happen. Transactions won't go through. It couldn't handle CryptoKitty, so imagine it trying to take on a Facebook-type app. P-Chain has all that leverage, all of that scalability to be able to manage that, or it will do in the future. Of course, they've got an MVP, but of course they are going to be, you know, their finished product is going to enable the Facebooks, the Googles, the large data intensity apps or dApps to basically run on these seamlessly. And then you've got Zeller. Okay, Zeller is obviously, I never got into it in the end, but Zeller is one of those cryptocurrencies, kind of like, it almost makes me feel like being Simon Cowell. Okay, so Simon Cowell, if you don't know who he is, he basically is one of the head judge on X Factor or whatever, Got Talent, wherever you are. And he is like the king. He's like the one that like picks out the people who, you know, were customer service agents or working at McDonald's and then makes them a superstar, right? That's kind of how I see my role with Zeller. I kind of picked it out and then I left it. It's like one of these artists leaving Simon Cowell, and then making it on their own. Now Zeller's making it on its own, but doesn't discount it being one of the big blockchain 4.0 contenders of the future. One of those ones that, again, uses a heterogeneous forest, as they call it, in order to scale apps, in order to build apps to enormous scale, you know, to hundreds of thousands, millions of people using it, and it not bringing down the network. And then we move to outside of the console sphere. We have got like the likes of Matrix covered by like VR. Why? Because this goes beyond like the traditional structure. Okay, blockchain is the traditional structure. Matrix is taking the traditional structure and putting it more into a computerized field, where almost the computerized element is so intelligent you don't need the humans anymore. So Matrix, Neurochain kind of fit into this 4.0 blockchain. Why? Because as these artificial intelligence bots, which run both Matrix and Neurochain, get more and more intelligent and can do tasks faster and faster, they are going to outperform all of the rest of them because they are bot-based nodes. So it means that they can reach consensus at any time of day. It doesn't mean nodes need to be running all the time. You know, a network doesn't need to make sure they've got all of these different nodes. No, they've got all of them running as artificial intelligence bots. Therefore, Matrix Neurochain are likely to be humongous powerhouses in the blockchain 4.0 space. Now, 4.0 is where you would also see the likes of Quark Chain. Now, Quark Chain, as you have seen, has now kind of it kind of 16x'd. Okay, so it went to about 35 cents. It has since dipped, and there's suspicious reasons as to why. A big amount was dropped. People think it's the team cashing out. I don't know for sure, but whatever the case, you know, Quark Chain fits into blockchain 4.0. P-Chain does. These are why I got involved in both P-Chain and in Quark Chain. Why I sold my soul to be able to get into both of them, because these are the money makers. They are the extraordinary money makers of the blockchain future. the blockchain and infrastructure space is always progressing. Always. And you have to make sure that you've got a little bit of a hand in it when it's progressing. You know, P-Chain hasn't really got going yet. Zeller has already had a 10x. It hasn't really still got going yet. Matrix hasn't really got going yet. Neurochain isn't even out yet. Quarkchain is just out. So, you know, these are the potential biggies of blockchain. These are the ones pushing things. These are the ones doing cross-sharding, multi-level, multi-layer sharding, scaffolding, all of these different terminologies that you're beginning to see now in cryptocurrency. And you've got to have a hand in them. Okay, this is probably the most simplified way of making it. Whether you're a boy or a girl, hopefully you'll appreciate this. I know girls play computer games less. Maybe that's a generalization. But I hope this is a good way of putting it. Now, what for the future? Well, for the future, this is what I see. Bang! The super infrastructure that goes beyond blockchain. So we don't just have blockchain anymore. Now we have non-blockchain infrastructures. Ones that are now using different consensus algorithms. Consensus algorithms that don't rely on blocks, block sizes, and all of that good stuff is actually taking that further and evolving. So essentially, you know, we are going to be looking at the holochains, the hash graphs, the currency of the internet. We're going to be looking at these kind of cryptocurrencies, the Tolars, the ones that are non-blockchain based. These are going to be the super infrastructures, okay? Because, Hashgraph is statistically the one most likely to do the best out of all infrastructures. Why? Because of the way it reaches consensus, and also because of what it is achieving so far is 250 times faster than anything out there. And the proof is in the pudding, because with Hashgraph, they have got one particular project I have looked at, which is called Satori, and you've got to check that out, all right? That gives you an indication of what is going to come out of Hashgraph, okay? However, what we are seeing more and more now, and it's becoming a trend, which I see Hashgraph as being the king of, is non-blockchain infrastructures. So you've got to have your hand in a variety of pies when it comes to blockchains, because these are the ones that are increasing the potential. These are the ones that are increasing the, I suppose, the advancement of dApps. Okay, dApps, right? So that takes me to the next slide. dApps. Okay, so at the beginning we had like your Sonic the Hedgehogs, the small, the slow, the slightly entertaining dApps. Okay, they were being created on Ethereum, let's say. Now we are getting into an era where we've got these super infrastructures. So what's going to be created on them from this point onwards? Now, at the risk of sounding really, really bad, Minecraft, because I obviously have a ex-Minecraft channel, Pokemon Go and Fortnite. These are the three biggest games of all time, right? Now, Mario and Sonic the Hedgehog were the biggest games of all time. So look at these dApps. So look at dApps at the moment, like the evolution of computer games, okay? Obviously, they run on the infrastructures, the computers, but you have the Marios and the Sonic the Hedgehogs that are on Ethereum, right? And on, Zilliqa and on Neo and all that. But moving forward, moving to the holochains, the hash graphs, we are going to be seeing the Fortnites, okay? So what came before is going to be completely outclassed by what's coming in the future. Hashgraph, Satori, that Satori project is going to be like Pokemon Go kind of thing. Now, Hashgraph have much more of a chance of creating the next Fortnite than Ethereum, EOS, and Cardano, okay? Now, Hashgraph isn't necessarily the be-all and end-all. There may be a new Hashgraph, okay? I don't know about it yet. As far as I'm concerned, Hashgraph is the key. But the next one is where either Hashgraph or the one after could make the potential Fortnite. Now, Fortnite, if you have a look on YouTube, is probably the trendiest game on YouTube. If you make a Fortnite video and you're a big YouTuber, you get millions of views, okay? Because Fortnite is massive. But Fortnite is only massive because it runs on a great console, is very, very fast, and has features like online play and playing with friends all around the world. And even it's got cross-chain, if you think about it, because traditionally, if you play on an Xbox or on a PS4, right, if you play online, you can only play online with your Xbox friends or your PS4 friends. You can't mix and match. You can't play on an Xbox with PS4 friends. But with Fortnite, you can. So they've got some cross-chain stuff going on. And that's because Fortnite is like one of those D-apps that is changing the game. So you've got to kind of look at why you're investing in an infrastructure as this graphic here. Because the best infrastructures are going to make the best games. And the slowest and the oldest are going to make the outdated games like the Sonic the Hedgehogs and the Marios. So you've got to have your hand in the big blockchains, the future blockchains, the futuristic blockchains, in order to have a hand in the D-apps of the future. All right? So like the likes of Ethos, the likes of Power Ledger, the likes of Substratum, some of these really, some of these D-apps and I suppose ecosystems that are being created, they are going to be way more successful at scaling if they are on Hashgraph. So what we're going to see over time is that a lot of these cryptocurrency dApps are going to use these cross-chain protocols so that they can be on all of the different platforms. Think about it, okay? Think about like Minecraft and Fortnite. You can get it on the Xbox, you can get it on the PS, you can get it on mobile, you can get it probably some other way as well. And that's because they are on a number of different consoles. They're not just on one console. So you've got this cross-chain protocol. And if you've got something like P-Chain, which has got this cross-chain operating and the multi-layer sharding, then you've got more chance of having the next Fortnite, because you're going to be able to have a game running on all of these blockchains and therefore being ultra successful. So you've got to kind of have your hand in these blockchains. So this is why blockchains are the future, peeps. Not only because they are evolving the space, getting more and more powerful, and they are making all the ones that came before obsolete, but also because we've got to look at D-apps and how D-apps are going, or dApps, whatever, how dApps are going to progress in this space. They're only going to progress if they have got a very good operating system making it, a very good processor making sure the transactions are happening fast, and therefore you are going to have your big hit dApps. Your big hit dApps are going to be on the super infrastructures. So, there we are. That was Suppo's guide to infrastructures. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope that that made some sense to you, because it certainly was fun putting it in a way which is relatable. So, let's have a look and see how many people are on E1. So, just over 1,000 peeps. So, not brilliant. So make sure you smash up your likes, smash them up. I'm going to take a few questions on here because I don't want to be on here for too long. So I'm going to take a few questions from here. So, Mexico. So what do you think of Metaverse? They are launching the first blockchain digital identity in a few days. Now, I've not kept tabs of Metaverse. Metaverse I spoke about last year. It was about $3 then. 83 cents now. It's got some good volume though. That's hilarious. It's got some good volume, but it looks like more money's being taken out, because with that supply the money would be going up if money was being invested. So obviously there's not a lot of interest in Metaverse, so couldn't really say. But I do know that there are personal identity stuff that are dApps that are going to be kind of like the, I suppose, like kind of like the Minecraft, I suppose, like really good dApps, like Sovereign. It's going to be massive. Pikio Chain, I think, is another one, but I don't think that's really done that too well. Zella's doing extremely good. Can it 100x? Well, I think that I gave you the answer to that. It has the potential. What do you think about Zebi? All this hype for the coin is dying day by day. In this climate, every coin is dying day by day, simply because the longer it goes on, the less shiny and magical it is. It's like a novelty. When something first comes out, there's all of this potential. Okay, it's a little bit like a new baby born. Okay, when you have a baby, it's like, oh wow, this baby could be a doctor or a lawyer or a vet and all that kind of stuff. But as they grow up, actually, like, all that stuff comes off, and then they eventually become a customer service agent or work in McDonald's or something. So, like, that's probably a really bad analogy. But what I'm trying to say is that at the beginning, there feels like all this possibility, but then when the novelty wears off, real life happens. And that is where the projects need to really make an effort. So they have to do marketing. Obviously, you know, Zebi have had some great marketing. So to say they don't have great marketing, stupid comment. But right now is not the time. What's the point in marketing right now when the price is just going to go down? Okay, let's say they brought out an update, right? Or let's say I did a video, or Box Mining did a video, and the price went up. The next day it'll bloody go down. So what's the point of doing the marketing now? The marketing has to be at the point at which the prices go up. So anybody who leaves it, well, frankly, in my opinion, is an idiot, but that's not investment advice. P-Chain versus Quark Chain. That is a big question. Now, Quark Chain has had a hell of a lot more hype, but in my opinion, P-Chain has... there's a difference between the two. There is a bit of a difference between the two. Now, as far as I'm concerned, P-Chain is more of a scaling solution than an ability to create dApps. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that a dApp can run on it, but you can't necessarily create one on it. Okay, I may be wrong, I may be right. Quark Chain is probably looked on more like an EOS. So I guess people are thinking this one has more potential. But I think both have potential, but Quark Chain has had more hype, had a better entry point. You know, at the end of the day, you've got to think about, you know, the prices of things, okay? You're more likely to invest in something that's 1 cent than 15 cents, okay? So Quark Chain was obviously 1 cent, and people, you know, actually, well, P-Chain wasn't 15 cents at ICO. But what I'm trying to say is the cheaper it is at ICO, or pre-sale, the more people are going to buy of it, and the more hype it's going to get, and the more continued progression it's going to have. Personally speaking, I like P-Chain's tech more, and I like P-Chain's team more, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to have more hype. So there's my answer. Sparkster reached 50,000. I never watched the video, but you know, Sparkster is looking to be like it might be something more seasonal than long term. Zebi might be a good project. Do you think it might fail? Stupid question. Do you know that FP Complete? No, don't know who they are. Zebi's not dead. Quark Chain predictions? Oh, Jesus, that could just go up to $2, but at the same time, it could spike up to 50 cents and go down. I think at the moment, a lot of the people who are going to pre-sale have their token stocks. They can't do anything about it. So really, it relies on the people buying now on the exchanges and where they take it. So it's a weird one. However, I do have a big fear that when people's tokens go, a lot of people just going to dump the hell out of it. What would you invest in 1K in today? Either open platform, or P-Chain, or Zella maybe? I don't know. But in an infrastructure, either way. Best buy, Cardano, OneChain, Icon, Zilliqa, Zebi, Quantstamp. Well, Quantstamp's completely different. This is a dApp, basically. These are infrastructures, so they're different. Okay, so which is probably, you know, the one most likely? I would say Cardano personally. However, Icon and OneChain, they have very high potential. Phantasma versus Quark Chain. Quark Chain easy. I mean, Phantasma's a dApp. It's like investing in Gmail, whereas Quark Chain is investing in Apple. So you're more likely to invest in Apple than the app. So asked and answered. Why have you lost trust in 10x? Well, basically they have basically 10x has just died a death. They're gone. No one talks about them anymore. They have not grown. They're rubbish, basically, is my personal opinion. They could turn that around, but in my opinion right now, they are rubbish. Don't know it. So couldn't give any best ICO right now. I don't know. Let's have a look and see what ICOs are around. I'm going to have to make a move very shortly, peeps. Best ICO right now. Let's have a look. Well, none of these are any good. So Money Token I've had a look at, but I'm not sold. The rest, I don't. Well, maybe Definity, but it's got really bad. I wouldn't get involved at ICO personally. Mandala is an exchange. I've heard about it. I think it's a relative. I think it's a good idea. But I just don't think that. I think decentralized exchanges are the future, not exchanges. So there we are. But there's nothing good. There's no good ICOs right now. We had a spate where there were tons of really good ones. Now there are no good ones. So that's my personal opinion, though. Your fight. That would take too long. That would take too long. I would say Cardano, Fusion. It all depends on for what. You know, do you mean projects or do you mean for games? Those are two separate questions. Some you can just love. Like I love Bitcoin and I love Steam, for instance. But would I put them in my top 5 favorites for games? No. So, you know, so there we are. So, but I would say that the newer infrastructures I have invested in, like P-Chain, for instance, it's, you know, the way that the way technology is progressing in cryptocurrency is just so fast. I mean, it's not like the console market where you could wait 3 years between the Nintendo and the Super Nintendo and then the Nintendo 64. It's now a case that pretty much a week or a month later, a new big infrastructure is going to come out. So we got the likes of Solana, for instance, another one that's pushing the boundaries on what you can achieve. So, you know, it's very difficult. It's very changeable. I think that's it for today. So, because I think I've answered, and there's quite a few naff questions, so I'm just going to leave it. But there was one question I wanted to actually. Let me just see if there are any questions amongst you guys asking. Let me just put that down a little bit. Are there any questions that you guys are asking that I can answer while I am here? Have I looked into INCX? No, I'm not interested in that. There was something actually. Player or something. Player? Can't remember what it was, but it's a new gaming it's a new gaming platform launching on VeChain. Sounds interesting. And because it's on VeChain, could be even more interesting. Any other Sphinx? Any good questions, peeps? Hey, Sadiq. Hey, Hoddle Crypto. Good to see y'all, peeps. Can't see who else is online, so say hi. Tolar, Tolar is, like I said, it's a non-blockchain infrastructure. However, you're locked up till Q4. So if you get involved now, you're locked up. Your Ethereum's locked up till Q4, and in that time, Ethereum could have got up to $2,000. In which case, humongous opportunity cost. So I'm not getting involved in that. Yggdrash, yes, Yggdrash. I am hopeful they're going to change the name. Okay, I'm hopeful they're going to change the name. So I think if they change the name, it can make a big difference because as far as technology is concerned, it seems to have a lot of the blockchain for functionality, and that's coming out soon. BitDegree, I think, is going to be, well, I'm going to be launching the first paid course on BitDegree later this month, so watch out for that. Anything others? Yeah, I'm still bullish on Yggdrash, definitely, and Neurochain. Anything others? Nothing else. Rubbish. Right, okay, fine. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Hope it gave you a little bit of an interesting perspective, an alternative perspective, I suppose, to infrastructures, why infrastructures, and the dApps that they can create. Now, something that I may do, let me know in ye old comments. Would you like me to make a dApp version of the blockchain version I just did, or the infrastructure version? So what do I see these particular games replicating in the dApp world right now? So let me know if you want that kind of thing, because I think it'll be another interesting video. And yeah, let me know. But anyway, peeps, thank you for coming. Hope you enjoyed yesterday's episode, which is going to be how Savage Cash is filmed from now on. So it's likely that I'm going to... Hi, Alison. Thank you very much. It's likely I'm going to be making one pre-recorded and one, maybe 2 live episodes a week moving forward. Let me know if that's enough for you. But until next time, peeps, it is lights out, all out. Da 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 da.